Right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday on the morning show. You know the drill by now. Spencer, JC, Steve, Alfonso with you. This morning, what are we talking about? Talking about junk, talking about Bitcoin, crypto. Have you seen what was it? What was it Cardano today? Yeah, Cardano. Look at you. Up 8%. I see you. Not sure why. Not sure I care why. Okay, so it's Crypto Friday. We'll have Louis Sykes on the show. We'll have Larry Thompson on the show from Hostile Charts. And let's get the show. That's right. The degenerates are, hey, we're not all degenerates. Just some of us are degenerates. Ricksta, I'll have you know. Yeah, Louis in the house. Larry in the house. No Kenny. He's out of town. He'll be back on Tuesday. But you got us here. What more do you need? Strazza's good. Jace's good. Good. On we go.
Oh, Solana Summer.
Hey guys.
Why do you always look like you're about to go play golf, or you just finished playing golf?
Why don't you?
Because I don't do that. I don't have to pretend I play golf. Everybody knows I don't.
No,
I play it with you, and you make me look good, so it looks like I'm a golfer when I'm with you. You know.
So I wasn't gonna bring this up, but I guess you're kind of forcing my hand. I went to Topgolf for the first time yesterday.
Ever?
What a disappointment. Yeah. Terrible.
What was so disappointing about it?
I thought it was going to be like really cool. First of all, the tech's not that cool. They just combined a driving range with a golf simulator, is all it really is. The drinks suck. I don't know about the rest of you. I drink beers when I go to my driving range. It's no different for me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. The food's not that good. You know what it's good for? It's good for like if you want to hang out with a bunch of people that most of them don't play golf, and you just need like a place to hang out because it's like kind of like a little bit of your own lounge.
That's it though.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the food sucks. The drinks aren't good. Yeah, agreed. I'm with Strazza on this one. I don't think he's being a negative Nance.
You're right. If you got like the kids and the girls, like some of them have little couches in the bays, and like that's cool. There's televisions and stuff, but like I think for a real golfer, like you're not going and paying $100 for that. You're just going to go to the driving range.
Yeah, no, it's like a flex. Like if you want to show off how hard you can hit the ball.
Yeah.
To take a bunch of people who don't play golf so that you can show them just how far you can hit it. Like there's that too. Like I know some of those guys, you know,
because you can't get people to follow you to the driving range. But if you tell them free margs, yeah, got it.
You see how this, so it serves a purpose in life. It's not for you. It's not for me. Doesn't sound like it's for Spencer, right?
I've actually I've never top golfed before, so I don't have an opinion here.
It does have a bowling alley feel, Abe. But I'm going to try another one. We have Pop Stroke. If anybody's familiar, it's called Pop Stroke. This is Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy's company. Totally different concept. Think of it as like advanced mini golf.
Ooh, I like that.
The problem though, Spencer, is, and I was sweating yesterday, even with the cooling system, you're just out there in the heat for Pop Stroke.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
We'll see.
All right. So can we get on to more important things than Strazza's like golf experiences? Like, I don't know if you heard. We've been hodling. We've been accumulating, right?
Yeah.
Have we not?
Yeah, we should get into it.
You know, the hodlers are being rewarded.
Nice shirt,
The trend fighters are being penalized.
JC's shirt game. It's a bull market for JC's closet. I'll tell you that. He knows it.
Breaking my balls. He's like, dude, you got these great T-shirts. You don't wear them. You got to start wearing better T-shirts. So all right. I listen.
Great. Okay, let's talk about what's actually happening out there.
The fact that I have. People just send me t-shirts and hats. I have all kinds of t-shirts and hats from all kinds of companies, many of which don't even exist anymore. So shout out to everybody who sends me stuff. Here I am wearing them. See? All right. Okay. We got the Dow futures this morning down about 0.2%, 282 to the downside, 44,625. S&P 500 futures down 0.5%, just under 6,300. You got the NASDAQ futures also down about 0.5%. Just below 22,900, down about 115 points to the downside. 30-year bond futures also down 0.5%, about the 113.5 for 30-year bond futures. Crude oil up 1%, above 67. Copper down 1.5% at 550. Gold up 1%, 33.60. Silver up 3%. Hello, 38.5 for silver, with the VIX up, pushing 17 once again. Over in funny money land, here's the big news. Bitcoin, new all-time highs, hit a high of 118,839 in the overnight session. Currently up 1,800 points, 1.5%, just under 118,000 for the BTC. And then, of course, Ethereum making moves as well. Ethereum had a high in the overnight session of 3,040, currently settling in just under 3,000. That's Ethereum up 1% right now. You got Solana, 350, up a smidge this morning, hitting a high in the overnight session of 355. With the total crypto market cap, Mr. Spencer Israel, 3.62 trillion, 3.62 trillion. And by the way, I understand it's only Friday. We still got a couple more days left, but total crypto market cap working on its highest weekly close ever. Flirting with that as we speak. Got a couple more days. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm saying there's a chance.
JC,
talk to me.
I think it was yesterday we were talking. You and I agreed, if this breakout's going to be real in Bitcoin, you're going to get some fireworks. I think I said big sticks. You're going to see some big sticks. You got them. Yeah. Do we have any crypto charts? I didn't make any this morning, but if you just look through the alts, 2 big sticks in Ethereum, big stick in Solana, 2 big sticks in the Ripple, 3 big sticks in the Ripple, huge stick in the Bitcoin yesterday. That was like the biggest daily move since early May. Yeah, starting line momentum. Love to see it.
What stands out today for me? Futures market. I mean, other than crypto, obviously, we'll come back to the crypto. I got my HODL shirt on. I'm in silver, 3.5%. Big move.
Yep. You saw that yesterday. I said to Alfonso, the market closed yesterday. I said, "Oh no, what did we do? We didn't buy more AG and PAAS calls." Those candles, really indecision yesterday morning by the close. You pretty much had your answer that coil was going to pop. So silver miners, new leg up. Get on board.
Can we talk about palladium? Palladium also up 4% this morning. Platinum up 3% this morning. These are serious moves.
Yep, they are. I guess SBSW just keeps cruising. It'll be at new highs this morning at the open. Metals in general, JC, I think it's broader. It's commodities, right? You're even seeing it with lithium. Some of these agricultural names. You see these chemical stocks, something like Mosaic. It's been in an uptrend. Archer Daniels Midland, I love this base. So I think just material stocks in general deserve more attention from investors right now.
The XME, the S&P Metals and Mining ETF up 5.3% yesterday.
Yeah. It's initiation. You're getting initiation readings.
What about the trannies? Big stick. Speaking of big sticks, big stick for the trannies yesterday.
Yeah.
My point on the trannies is that these are some of the worst, companies for sure. One of the biggest disappointments in this bull market. So the fact that they're getting their big sticks, they're making moves. To me, that speaks to broadening and participation, like materials, by the way. So with the parts of the industrial complex that have been underperforming, moving in sync with the shitty materials companies that have been underperforming, like that's in line. That makes sense. That plays, right?
I got another one. I'll add another one to your list of losers, the losers list. It's getting smaller and smaller. We've been running scans on biotechs all week. Look at the action in the biotechs.
Yeah.
Maybe that broadens to healthcare more generally. Kind of got to see it. But the biotechs look really good.
Yeah, remember, healthcare stopped going down at the beginning of April, right? Granted, they haven't been going up.
Yeah. Right.
But mathematically, they need to stop going down before they can start going up. They stopped going down in April. Here we are in July, by the way. That was 3 months ago. Just saying. Got to stop going down before they can start going up. Okay, enough. We're already 13 minutes into the show. We've barely talked about the funny money. Can we throw up slide 2, please? Throw up slide 2. I know there's a lot of people out there that might be scared to transact on the old block and chain, and I understand that. So even if you are not a hodler or a diamond hands or one that exchanges on chain, and you are just a TradFi bro, you're still in. You got action because Bitcoin making new all-time highs at the same time that the ratio between the S&P 500 high beta index relative to the low volatility index also making new all-time highs. Steve Strazza, that does not strike me as a coincidence.
This is a great chart, JC, and I think this is some of the best confirmation you can get, right? It's one risk appetite ratio confirming the action in another very, very risk-on asset.
Yeah, and these things really just getting going. You can make an argument that Bitcoin is just getting going, coming out of this monster base from the last few years, but you can also make an argument that high beta just getting going relative to low volatility. So when you're wondering, what do they say? Long in the tooth. Are you long in the tooth? Is this getting frothy, right? As people say, the weight of the evidence to me suggests that no, it is not long in the tooth and or frothy.
Well, hold on. It's a time frame question. Long in the tooth for who? Right? Look at the momentum in something like the high beta, low vol. Just look at vertical line higher, right on the right side.
It's been a straight shot up. Yep.
Yeah. Look at something like
and then understand why though. What's driving that, Strazza?
Buyers.
It's the goddamn rotation into speculative growth that you've been pounding the table on. That's that.
Yeah. But if you have a very short-term time frame, you're thinking more like a trader, I think you come off the gas a little bit on some of the speculative growth stuff, right? I think we've gotten initiation price action in a lot of these really, really risk-on groups, lagging groups, right? Let them dance now for a second. Let them.
Here's what I'll tell you. I agree and I disagree. I agree in that, generally speaking, it's not a shut the fuck up and buy them all market, right? But it's also not a shut the fuck up and sell them all market either. I think you got to pick your spots more than you have over the last few months. That's what I think.
Yeah. I don't think you want to chase a lot of these trends that maybe are long in the tooth.
But I think there's plenty of opportunities to the long side still in technology, consumer discretionary, American growth in general. I still think there's opportunity there. Bitcoin making new all-time highs and seeing broadening in participation across the altcoin space, suggests that that's probably on point, right?
For primary trend investments, I think you can buy a lot of these groups we're talking about right here, right now, today, buy the fresh trend reversals, right? I'm just saying if you're trading short-dated call options a month or two out, maybe buying ARK stocks right here today isn't the move.
All right, so here's my morning troll. Throw up that next slide there, Spencer. Here's my morning troll.
Who are you trolling? Why?
I just like to make myself laugh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just part of my day. I'm here to make myself laugh. Congratulations to Bitcoin. Bitcoin now only needs to 10x from here to get to gold status. So only a 10x from here to get to where gold is, and that's only if gold stops going up.
Hold on though. This whole conversation that we have on here way too often, Spencer, you should probably come back for it, about the total market value of crypto versus other asset classes, I think is unfair and framed poorly by you. Let me tell you why. You have never seen such tremendously bullish fund flows into an asset class, right? So just the momentum here, the rate of change here, the way that the IBIT came onto the scene and blew up like GLD never did, never could.
Well, to be fair,
I think
GLD did, except that
some
IBIT
mention.
did it a zillion times better. But at the time, that had never happened before when GLD was launched, to be fair.
But instead of sitting here, we could do two things with this information. We could sit here and say, oh, look at how small peanuts, immaterial Bitcoin and crypto is. Or we could say, holy cow, people want this asset. They're dying to get in. The fund flows coming into IBIT and just Bitcoin ETFs in general. We've never seen anything like it in market history. So there's two sides to the story, is all I'm saying.
Also, gold had a 500-year head start.
At
You
least
got to start somewhere, and it's been a great start.
the best charts are the charts of gold going back to before the birth of Christ.
Those
are some of the best.
1,000-year head start, we'll call it.
Yeah. So anyway, I say it somewhat tongue in cheek. I don't necessarily think the fact that that Bitcoin needs to go up 10x from here to get to gold. I don't look at that as a bad thing. I'm wearing my HODL shirt. I'm long Bitcoin. I'm long a whole bunch of other crypto assets.
Long gold.
Am I long gold? A little bit, not like the others. I actually don't have much gold. But what I will tell you is that I don't look at this as a bad thing. I say it like funny, haha, like, oh, now Bitcoin only has to go up 10x to get to gold, because gold's at 22 trillion, Bitcoin's at 2, right? So you need a 10x just to get to gold status at this point in Bitcoin. And again, I say that funny, haha, but the truth is, I'm with Strazza. If anything, that's bullish. That's way more upside. So I'm not saying that as a negative, Strazza.
I know you're not. And I don't think it would be a crazy position or view to say Bitcoin's probably a lot closer or bigger than gold one day. These things take time. Talk to me in 10 years. Let's compare Bitcoin versus gold then. Talk to me in 20. Bitcoin's probably bigger at that point.
All right, big news coming from the non-fungible tokens. You got the CryptoPunks. These are the blue chip NFTs, CryptoPunks, hitting $130,000 in the overnight session. If you want to throw that up there, Mr. Mr.
I'm so interested.
This is a whopping 3-month chart.
I'm so interested in NFTs. What are you making fun of, Spencer? New highs.
Yeah, Spencer, why are you hating? I'm sorry. Is 100% return in a few months, is that not enough for you? Are you not entertained?
I like to zoom. When in doubt, zoom out. Someone told me that.
Go ahead, zoom out or make 100% in 3 months.
So much more
I don't even know how to find this chart, so I can't.
Well, you see, there's a URL there. It says nftpricefloor.com. You could just go there, right? It's not hard.
It's funny because this is a crypto website. However, it still looks like it was built in 2001.
Indeed. As are CryptoPunks, for that matter, which are like the 16 pixels or whatever. 32 pixels. I don't know. I don't know anything about pixels.
Thing.
Also, want to give a shout out. New multi-year highs for the dick butts, crypto dick butts, of which I am a whale.
Your dick butt whale. So
exceeding $4,000 in the overnight session there for the old crypto dick butt. So shout out to the dick butt community.
Why did you? So you obviously had to make a decision back in the day when you got invested in your NFTs, and all of the rage back then, if I remember correctly, you were more into the space than I was, but was the apes. But you chose to go with the punks, right?
Yeah,
and they're
God.
really the two big ones. Why did you make that decision then?
Because the CryptoPunks were the OGs. And the apes were like the new kid in school, like the new kid who turns out to be a huge asshole and scammed everybody from their money, right? Yeah. Like I smelled it, I smelled it. I'm seeing people in the airports with their, with the Bored Ape Yacht Club, like they had a yacht club, right? And they had all these plans and everything, and all that fell apart completely.
There are no yachts,
right? No yachts, right? Where are the investors' yachts? And so, CryptoPunks were just the OGs. So if you're going to invest in some of this stuff, like for me, I'd rather be in the highest of quality. And so I chose that. And then during the correction this spring, when CryptoPunks were down in the 60s, I picked another one up. So one for the good guys, right? So that was a quick double. How do you like me now there, Mr. Spencer?
Listen, you did some all-star fundamental analysis on the NFTs many years ago.
What can I tell you?
My friend.
Can I tell you?
Proud of you.
And then finally, so, I think that CryptoPunks in general are part of this Ethereum, complex. These things are priced in Ethereum. Ethereum arguably the currency of the old blockchain chain. If you want to throw up Ethereum, I think this is big. I think this is big. We talked about how Bitcoin dominance is most likely over. The peaks in Bitcoin dominance are likely to have been seen already. And so that next leg higher for Ethereum. Ethereum going to $1 trillion, folks. Right now, Ethereum, what are we at? 350? 350 on the old ETH?
I don't think it's out of the question that Ethereum. I don't think it's out of the question that Ethereum makes a run over the course of the next year or two, like the run that Bitcoin made over the past year or two. And your NFTs are going to print if that's the case.
I mean, everybody's talking about, CryptoPunks going to $1 million, right? So right now they're at about 130. So I got a couple of them. I could use a few extra $1 million, definitely.
Yeah. Who is this Gary V guy? I'm seeing him on TV now. I've been hearing about him for years. Who's Gary V?
He used to be a wine guy, and then he turned into like one of these marketing influencer people.
He's like a New Yorker influencer type of guy. Like
so
work really hard, wake up at 6 a.m.
His dream in life is to own the New York Jet. That is his goal. That is his only goal in life, is to buy the New York Jets. So everything he's doing
is dream that is.
Right. So everything he's doing, he's super into NFTs and collectibles and trading cards and all that stuff. But his goal is to buy the New York Jets. But JC's right. He was a wine guy, and then he's like a I don't want to call him an influencer because that's like too cheap. But he is he's
like one of these like motivational kind of guys.
Yeah,
like, entrepreneur motivational, like hustle porn.
He gave a great TED talk one day, and he's been famous ever since.
He's a wine guy. He actually knows a lot about wine. He used to do wine videos way back in the day. I never met him, so I don't
some people love him, some people hate him. I don't really have an opinion. I've never met the guy, so I don't know him. But he is like super like hustle, go rah entrepreneur.
Yeah, I heard him. Heard him this morning. He's got some voice on him.
Yeah, well, he talks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably a whale in some of these NFTs, knowing him and what he's about. Anyway, we got Louis in the house. Is Louis a whale in anything? Do we know?
Louis is a whale in that he lives in a land of not many humans. So he is a whale in his own right, compared to all the sheep, he is a whale.
I think they have beluga whales in New Zealand. We'll have to ask Louis if they have whales in New Zealand.
Shout out to the beluga whales.
Probably beluga whales are pretty.
Well, let's find out.
Baby beluga. Bring them on. In the
Morning, guys. Fantastic to be talking to you this morning with Bitcoin breaking out.
Whales in New Zealand, yay or nay?
Victory!
Yeah,
they got whales. Killer whales.
Half of all whale species, half of all dolphin species live in New Zealand.
It looks like a place where whales would hang out.
Half of all the dolphin species
great stat.
in New Zealand?
Great stat.
Yeah, it's a great biodiverse place. I mean, a lot of great fishing, right? So we've certainly got whales.
So you guys got a lot of animals, not a lot of humans, but lots of animals there in New Zealand.
Exactly. That's why it's just such a fantastic place to live.
That's right. Because you want a high animal to human ratio.
Definitely. I'm with you on that. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just fascinated by it. Yeah, it's a good thing. That's one for that's a W for the Kiwis. Exactly. Shout out to the Kiwis.
Louis, how many moons?
How many moons? Look, I just got to say, I am so tremendously excited with just these breakouts that we're seeing right now. I seen you guys so many charts. I just need to go through them just like one by one and just like go through them like snap. There's just so many bullish charts out there.
Yep.
Let's have a look.
Shall we?
You had some great coils, and the past couple days, it's just resolution style.
What do we got? What do we got for Louis? Louis, what'd you bring along?
Charts.
1 second.
Where's Louis' charts?
They're here. They're not in the deck. They're being added to the deck. My bad, Louis. I didn't realize. Here we go. All right, let's start with that guy.
Let's go. All right, funding rates. So this was the tell that told me that this breakout was coming.
Explain what it is, Louis. You do a really good job of explaining what this is.
So funding rates are just a perfect way to visualize whether traders in the futures market are positioned bullish or bearish. Generally speaking, and they're calculated by taking the premium of futures prices to spot prices, right? So when this green line is really high, that means that traders are positioned really long in the futures market. There's a big demand for long positions. You can basically take that as excessive optimism, and the market generally tops. When funding rates are negative, particularly at all-time highs, that's a sign that traders are
which
really
they just were.
Which they just were. So they were basically what happened. Retail traders have just been asleep at the wheel, and funding rates were negative with Bitcoin just a stone's throw away from all-time highs. They're being punished for their lack of bullish positioning, and now we're getting this breakout.
And then why are you saying that some are institutional versus some are retail? Like, why are you making that differentiation?
Because retail and institutions aren't really participating too much in the perpetual futures market. It's primarily something that where all the retail degens are trading, right? Particularly now with the ETFs, you're not going to have a financial institution swing trading perpetual futures. It's just not happening.
So retail traders have been asleep at the wheel and the institutions are winning? Is that what's happening?
It looks like it. But look, I think that actually changes because I want to pull up that cycle chart that I've got. So the Bitcoin cycle indicator. So I get a lot of questions all the time, like, Louis, where are we in the cycle? Because these crypto cycles, they tend to follow these normal patterns, and they tend to be very, what should I say, accentuated. And so there's these very long and very bullish bull trends and bull cycles. And then there's these disastrous bear markets. And so where are we in the cycle so we can avoid a bear market? Here's the answer to that. I think that we are entering into the later stages of this bull run. I think that Bitcoin has been outperforming really nicely. And that's obviously because the inflow pipelines have opened markedly for the institutions with these new ETFs and these new funds. That's driven Bitcoin higher relative to the rest of the asset class. I've got another chart for that. And I think now where we're at with Bitcoin breaking out, I think Bitcoin dominance has peaked for the cycle. I think Bitcoin dominance is going to continue working lower. I think that ETH is going to continue outperforming Bitcoin. I think that ETH and Solana continue to outperform Bitcoin. I think the further you go down the cap scale, the more well you're likely going to do. I think that a lot of these altcoins are really stretched to the downside. And before I let you jump in here, JC, I want to pull up the other chart that I have of Bitcoin overlaid with the average altcoin price. Not this chart. There's another chart out there. The average altcoin price. It should be amongst there. So you have a look at this. Altcoins have underperformed terribly this bull run. If you just bought these random altcoins. That's what your black line, that's what the black line represents, just the average altcoin price. Now you can see that there's been these select periods throughout this time period where these altcoins have done really well. But for the most part, Bitcoin's trading at all-time highs. Most of these altcoins are trading in pretty significant drawdowns. And so what I always was taught is that in a bull market, these weak sectors generally catch up to the stronger sectors. I think particularly now where we're at in this Bitcoin cycle, we're in the later stages of this bull run. That's precisely when the speculative end takes off. That's where a lot of these trends are a little bit overextended to the downside for these altcoins, and now they're beginning to outperform on Bitcoin breaking out. I think this black line catches up to this orange line in a pretty meaningful way.
And so if that's the case, and that means Bitcoin dominance is coming down, that's not necessarily a bad thing for Bitcoin. I'd argue, if anything, it's a good thing. It just means that it's not going to go up at the same rate as other things out there. And so when I think about the TradFi implications of an expansion in participation into the alts, I'm thinking beneficiaries like Coinbase. I'm thinking beneficiaries like Robinhood. I'm thinking Arky stuff that are have the highest short interest ever. Continue to act well. I think about the TradFi implications, right? So granted, ton of opportunities in altcoins, right? Obviously. But I think it's bigger than that. I think there's a lot more happening there if Louis is correct. And my bet is that Louis is going to be correct. I'm with you there, Lou.
Yeah, I mean, look, in these, you study every crypto cycle, and what happens at the end of these cycles? You get a massive run up in a lot of these speculative assets. And particularly, they haven't performed very well this bull market, and so I think there's a tremendous opportunity for a big catch up trade within a lot of these altcoins, and they're only really just breaking out now. And in some cases, they're still forming their bases, and so I think the setup there is really bullish. Crypto stocks as well. You talked about Coinbase. I've got a Coinbase chart here. Let's throw that up. It's the same story because these crypto stocks are more leveraged than Bitcoin itself. When Bitcoin is up, these crypto stocks are up likely more than Bitcoin itself. When Bitcoin is down, these stocks are likely down more than crypto itself, or Bitcoin itself. And so Coinbase breaking out again, perfect beneficiary of this entire trend. And so I think this one keeps moving higher.
We got in the Galaxy yesterday. One of the debates we were having in the meeting yesterday was, do we buy Coinbase? And everybody's like, well, we already own it, JC. I'm like, yes, thanks. We know. We're already in it. We've been making money. Everybody, great. But what does that have to do with yesterday? But at the end of the day, we decided, at least I decided, to go with the Galaxy. Not, just to be clear, not because we're already long Coinbase, not for diversification reasons, but specifically because we agreed that it was the better play. So I just want to make that clear. How do you feel about that? How'd you feel about that conversation, Strazza, out of curiosity?
You're putting a little ketchup on that dog.
You're putting a little ketchup on that dog. That's right. That's right. See,
No, I like
that. I like that.
But it does matter that you are already long Coinbase.
But I didn't want that to impact the decision making on yesterday's trade.
I think at this point, with these charts looking the way they are, everything Louis just said, I agree with everything, by the way, dude. I think you're nailing it.
I think we're agreeing way too much with Louis today. I don't like it.
Like my point is, like, you just own as many of them as you can. Own Galaxy, own Robinhood, own Coinbase. You want to take a shot on some of these Bitcoin miners? They look a hell of a lot better today than they did, all cycle. Go for it. They're buying Bitcoin miners.
They're buying Bitcoin miners. That's the type of environment we're in.
Not just by other CoreWeave, that's huge, right, from an M&A standpoint. But institutions have been pouring in. We got that. God, how long has it been now since that 13D from Co2?
From who?
Co2? How do you say it? They're big Silicon Valley guys. Big tech.
Co2?
Co2? Co2? Co2? Co2?
Co2? I don't know.
Co2. Yeah.
Louis, give us one more. Let's leave the folks with something to chew on over the weekend. Bitcoin's making all-time highs. Punks are making moves. Rotation, broadening participation. Coinbase all-time highs. Robinhood all-time highs. We're buying YOLO calls on the Galaxy. We're in.
YOLOs.
What are we missing? Give us something to chew on into the weekend.
I think what isn't being talked about enough, particularly in this circle, I mean, the crypto circle is different, is the pump token launch, right? This is arguably the most successful startup in world history. They are the startup to reach 100 million and 500 million in revenues as faster than anybody in any startup in history. And now they're going live with token launch. This is where the entire activity has taken place within the meme coin space this cycle. They've completely owned the meme coin space this cycle. And now they're going live with a token launch. They're launching at a $4 billion valuation. Unfortunately for you folks in America and for any of you Brits watching, you can't participate in the public sale, but you will be able to participate once it does come to market. And so I think there's a tremendous amount of interest on this one at a $4 billion valuation. These guys have just owned this meme coin space, and so there's a tremendous amount of excitement around this particular launch.
Mark's asking what's the symbol for the altcoin. I believe that was a custom index.
That was a custom index, so that takes the top 150 largest cryptocurrencies and equally weights them. So it's just an average price of all.
Blue Dog, what's the closest actual index that's has public information to that? You think
they have a?
Just
have some.
Trading View. You can go to Trading View. Just type in total or total 2 or total 3.
Explain to the folks what the difference between total 1, and total 2, total 3 are.
That's really the best altcoin index, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a market cap weighted index. So it's just the total crypto market cap, and then total 2 is the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. The total 3 is total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, because obviously the market cap is very concentrated.
When's the total 4 coming out?
Is there not a total 4?
I don't know.
They should remove
what would be excluded? Solana?
They should
No
exclude
total
the
for.
whole like blue chip tier, Ripple, Solana, Binance, right, and just give you the shit. But that would be a shitcoin index.
Didn't there used to be a shitcoin index?
Yeah, but though that company disappeared.
What happened to that?
So the name of that company was FTX, and they had a lot of great indexes. And then they went away, and so did that data.
All right, that makes sense. I'm like, whatever happened to that? Oh, they went to jail. That's right. They were criminals. Got it.
Hanging out with Diddy now.
Yeah, you got to make your own now.
Dude's playing chess with Diddy in Brooklyn. Didn't see that one coming.
Nope.
Didn't see that one coming. Louis Sykes, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for him, y'all. He's been spot on this rotation. You nailed it, Louis. Keep up the good work, buddy.
Appreciate it. Have a good weekend, guys.
Peace.
So Rachel went to the CMT event yesterday. Yeah. I saw some pictures. Why was everybody so sweaty?
Ew.
And why are they choosing like a bar that's so tight? I need to start getting more involved. Like I love the CMT association, and they have done so much for me and for the team here. And, you know, we want to have their back. I don't know much about, you know, things, but I know about bars. Like that is one thing that I'm really good at. And I can tell you right off the bat that everybody just seemed cramped and sweaty.
Was it at that gross tequila bar again?
No, I think it was at a grocer bar down the block, actually. What's up with that, Rachel? Why do all the pictures just sweaty dudes? Just sweaty, cramped dudes.
You know, I miss CMT events.
In the old days, we used to have CMT events at Bloomberg. There's plenty of space, air conditioning. You know, what are these like ghetto bars that they're going to? Like, what is going on here?
It's not about the bar, JC. It's about the people. Great group of folks.
I know, but why does everybody have to be cramped and sweaty? We're going to have to do something about this, guys. We're going to have to do something. Don't need to be at Beckett's on Stone Street any more times. No doubt. I mean, you know, Stone Street serves its purpose. I have, you know, had plenty of evenings on Stone Street, as many in Wall Street over the centuries have. So I'm just part of that, you know, that thing. But we don't have to keep, you know, Manhattan is a big island. There's all kinds of wonderful places, right?
Shout out to the island.
Shout out to the island. They don't talk like that in New York. So we got Larry in the house. And by the way, I'm not saying anything bad about the CMT Association. And I really want to reiterate just how grateful I am for everything that organization has done for me, for, you know, all of us here. And I am here to say that I will do anything ever for the CMT Association for the rest of my life. That is absolutely true. And they know that. And I'm here to say that the first thing we got to do is just get a better bar. Like start, you know, we got to start there, right? You got to start there.
You know, and really bringing up a problem that's kind of unique to New York City. 99% of the time when you find yourself in the city, you're either way too hot and sweating or way too cold and freezing. There's really fine line in between where like the weather's just right. You get like a couple weeks in the early summer and then that's it. You're either sweating or freezing your ass off. That's New York City.
No, it's not. That's not right. No, New York City actually has very mild climates. The extremes are rare. The extreme heat and the extreme cold, very rare in Manhattan.
The stinky steam starts rising off the streets and stuff.
No, it's not the climate.
It's powering the things in Manhattan, so it's not the steam. Well,
JC, it's not the climate. It's the climate plus. There's like the New York City premium, so the New York City makes it hotter, right? Yeah. Right, and then there's like the subway on top of that. So
man, these spring days and fall days where like I have my Uber drop me off like in the village somewhere in the West Village, like, or, you know, Tribeca or something. And I walk up to Midtown and just like go through my stroll. Like it is lovely. Ugh. Oh, what a lovely, lovely walk.
God.
It really is lovely. New York City, best city in the world. I don't give a shit who you are. New York City, best city in the world. Facts only around here. Facts only.
It's what they say.
I listen, I've been searching far and wide for many years for a better city. And I have been to some great cities. And they are not New York City. Hong Kong is awesome. Fantastic. It ain't New York. Tokyo, I'm obsessed with Tokyo. It ain't New York. London, definitely not New York. Right?
I will be in New York this time next week. Can't wait to eat some bagels, maybe some Korean barbecue with my
We're
friends.
going to dinner. You, me, and Batnick?
I'm going to have to bring my luggage, but yeah, let's do it.
JB's going to some play or something. He's not hanging with us.
How fancy.
He doesn't even know that he's taking his wife and daughter, so he doesn't even want to go either. He wants to party with us, but he's doing dad things,
I love a good play.
Yeah.
Really do.
All right.
All right. Should we bring on Larry Thompson?
I think we should.
All right. Enough of this New York talk.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call. Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
What was that remix?
Yeah,
That
get a
was
little DJ on it.
That was my fault.
Little DJ.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it actually.
Do you know who invented the remix?
Did he? I don't know.
I do not know who invented the remix. P. Diddy invented the remix.
There we go.
Oh.
Yikes. Smooth
right.
with that one.
Fair enough.
Smooth.
All right. I think we're allowed to listen to Diddy songs again. Or maybe
All
just
right.
the Puff Daddy era.
Rough subject
Yeah.
to start with.
I was going to say maybe just a certain era of his songs.
All
not-
about the Benjamins.
Let's go back to cities. Let's talk about the weather again. let's switch it up. Let's switch it up.
right.
We got Larry Thompson in the house. Larry Thompson, let me just tell you, Larry's Sunday note, Spencer, if you could drop a link to where people can receive Larry's Sunday note. I personally, it's very quickly becoming one of my favorite weekly reads. Gives me a good heads up. Talking to Larry this morning about maybe doing like a follow-up a couple of days later. Again, just selfishly here, right? This is a very selfish endeavor, Larry. I'm asking for what I want.
Yeah.
I have a funny feeling other people are going to agree, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Yeah, Sunday stock list. It's been great. And one of the things I wrote about this week was like the dealer's choice, because I think we're seeing, right? You're seeing momentum do well. You're also seeing high beta do well. You're seeing a lot of things do well, and it really just comes down to your time frame. But I actually wanted to give a shout out to Lou and start with a crypto chart this morning, looking at Spencer or Fonz. You can pull that chart back up. One of the things I'm not struggling with, right, but just something that I'm thinking through is, right, there's so many trades that are working. What are similar trades that are being placed, right? And when I think about the Ethereum versus Bitcoin, I'm like, how many more trades can I place in this space? And it reminds me a lot of high beta versus momentum, because you've seen that strong push in beta off the lows relative to momentum. Because I would consider, right, Bitcoin has been leadership, right? I would say tech has been leadership. And when I see something like this, Ethereum versus Bitcoin and high beta versus momentum, it's like, it's a similar trade to me. So I might not need to place as many trades in that space as I originally thought, because it might be a similar trade. And if this theme continues, that's where we'll want to be. We'll want to be in the beta. We'll want to be in the ETH versus those Bitcoin and momentum on a relative basis. But both look good right now.
I like what Strazza is saying. I don't understand why the Mo is the denominator here.
To match up because momentum, I would consider Bitcoin. It depends on your time frame, right? Short term, beta is momentum, but when you zoom out, beta has been lagging momentum on a longer term time frame, right? So if I zoomed into this chart and put it, year to date or from the April lows, beta has been the momentum. But if you zoom out to a longer time frame, like a year or 9 months, beta hasn't been the momentum. The momentum's been in other names. Like, for example, if you look at these two indexes, materials. You wouldn't consider materials a beta play, but materials has currently been a beta play. It's the third largest holding in high beta currently. Strazza says he's confused. I don't know how to explain it any better.
No, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I'm with
and
Strazza.
momentum.
I'll tell you what, I'm with Strazza on questioning the denominator here, but I'm with you in the evidence that these two bastards are moving together.
Yeah, because there's a difference. Beta is a characteristic of the change, whereas momentum is more measuring measure a longer term time frame of what's been leading, and what's been leading is doing well, but beta is beating that on a relative basis. So It's a little bit confusing, but I think these two charts line up and just kind of show it's a similar trade.
Are you basically saying beta is simply short-term momentum in bull markets?
Correct. I'm saying yes. I'm saying the initiation thrust is high beta outperforming, and I'm also just saying when everyone says, "Is this trend going to continue?" You're basically asking, "Is beta going to outperform momentum?" That's what you're seeing here.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. I was just playing around, but P Diddy did invent the remix.
No, I'm fine with it too. But Strazza, you were right in questioning it and thinking through that. So I think you're both right.
Why would you say? What's your thoughts behind putting momentum in the numerator versus the denominator? Because I'm saying Bitcoin is the momentum, and I'm saying Ethereum is currently the beta. Like Ethereum's up 80% off the lows, whereas Bitcoin's up 40% off the lows, right? Small caps are up 40% off the lows, whereas tech's up 23% off the lows. So that's kind of how you're comparing it here. But, right, tomato, tomato, they're moving together is the point. It's a similar trade you're placing. So, same thing. If you want to go to that micro caps, regional banks, I think that's a similar concept too.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, so similar here, right? I think it's easy. I'm seeing a lot of people kind of get caught up in the stories now. They're like, oh, the stories are working. The fundamentals are working for these small caps, regional banks, micro caps, right? Just to clarify one thing here, there is no regional banks in the micro caps index. So for people who think there's overlap here, there's no overlap, right? Regional banks sit in the mid cap or small cap. They don't sit in the micro caps. So once again, what I'm saying here is like, it's all a similar trade. And so just be aware of that, because I think in bull markets, you'd be like, I don't know where else to place trades. I have 100 trades on. You might be placing more trades. And that's what I'm trying to highlight here. And the other thing I want to say about this, I wrote about this yesterday, talking about the weather with Strazza and stuff. I love the fall. I'm a football guy, football through and through. And one of the things growing up is when we're crushing a team, we would put the bench warmers in, right? And what's happening right now? The Bulls are crushing the Bears, and investors are like, okay, we can rotate into the shittiest companies in the world, the smallest, most vulnerable, no pricing power, no real ability to scale, all the interest rate sensitive stuff here. That's microcaps, right? And people are rotating dollars into them, not because they're fearful of a recession, but because they're winning. We're winning the game by a lot, and we can put in the scrubs. The scrubs are winning right now.
I don't think you were a scrub, Larry.
No, I started, but I'm just saying the analogy is the bench warmers are in.
This is great. It's great.
And what position did you play, Larry? Were you the punter?
Outside linebacker.
Wow.
Punter.
What do they call that? The outside linebacker? The not the Mike.
Will.
The Will, yeah.
Will, yeah. Mike's middle linebacker. Sam is Sam is strong side. Will's weak side. Yeah. Will's normally a little bit longer, a little bit faster. So depending on the defense you run, you'll play opposite side of the ball. So you're looking for counters and screens because they run screens to the weak side of the field because there's more space to that side of the field depending on the lineup. But high school football has gotten crazy. I played in Texas, and we played a spread offense. Like, you're basically a soccer player and a football player at the same time,
right?
Because a lot of running, right? You have a tight end pool, and you're getting blown up. And I played against some guys that blew me up. I got leveled a lot.
Larry the Legend, not a placeholder. And not a placeholder.
High school football in some of these southern towns is a fucking vibe.
Strazza, when you lived in Key West, did you ever go to the Key West football games?
I didn't.
How did you not?
I should have. I would have enjoyed it.
And
I like a good high school.
Too.
Yeah, Friday night under the lights. Good stuff.
Dude,
oh yeah, Southern Florida.
Those racist bastards hated us, right? You got a bunch of Cubans going down to Key West. They would throw things at us, spit at us. They hated the Cubans.
Yep.
Which is odd. You would think that in Key West they would like the Cubans, but these racist bastards did not like us very much.
There is a lot of racism there.
Yeah. Not a lot of teeth, in some of these folks.
More racism than teeth, probably.
Yeah. I don't forget. You see how I don't forget?
No, it's a lovely place.
You know what these assholes used to do? I swear to God, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
In the visitors, which I kind of respect in hindsight, but at the time it pissed me off. In the visitors' locker room, okay, they would have toilets in what used to be stalls, and they removed all the stalls. So there would just be a bunch of toilets there in the middle of the locker room just to piss off the visiting team, which at the time was ridiculous and it upset me. But in hindsight,
it's great.
It's kind of great. Yeah.
You probably couldn't do that today. You'd get in a lot of trouble.
Probably couldn't do that today. This is in the 90s.
I think it's awesome.
You know,
and shout out Key West, tiny little island, not a lot of people, but they're very good at high school sports, baseball and football.
Well, they recruit, they bring them in.
I'm sure.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Listen, a lot of towns do that. That's not a.
And then everything else sucks north of Key West in terms of like athleticism. Like the Marathon Dolphins might be the worst sports program in the history of high school sports.
Marathon's gross. So the town I grew up in, actually, they had a program where kids could come from the neighboring town, which was Bridgeport, and there are a lot of good athletes in Bridgeport. They wanted them athletes. So they had this program. It was called the agricultural program. And all that the kids would have to do to be a part of Trumbull public schools and then be able to play on the teams was like feed the cows and the llamas during the day. So they would get like a period to go and feed the farm animals, and then they would be on the football team. And I'm telling you, Trumbull football back in the day, man, they were good. Beating towns like Greenwich, Staples, Darien. Trumbull was sick.
Nice. This Connecticut football?
Mm-hmm. FCAC.
Larry's laughing. He's like, that's so adorable. You guys in Connecticut play football.
Okay. I played a couple years in Maryland, and when I came back from Texas, they tried to put me at every position. So I was like, dude, I'm done with this. They had me play long snapper. I played outside linebacker in Texas, and then we moved. They had me play. They were like, oh, you know how to play football? It was a small school in Maryland. They had me play D end, long snapper, and center. And one of the
snapper's tough. I wouldn't want that.
Center? Like I never played center in my life. And
you get knocked over.
The funny story was like my parents were sitting at a game and I transferred into this school. So it's like hard to try to start at first. And I started over this kid that's been there, and his parents sat near my parents and were like, put our son in the game.
Yeah.
But kind of funny. I wanted to, let's get back to the charts, huh? I wanted to talk about one real quick that highlights kind of the theme you guys were talking about. It's the moving averages. It's a lot of data real quickly. But what I want to highlight here is that time frame comment Steve made earlier, right? Because look at the short term 20-day, 50-day, right? Everything is working, right? 4 out of 5. When something says 80% for those non-math wizards out there, that means 4 out of every 5 stocks is above their 20-day, 50-day, and even 100-day. But what you see when you move out on the time frame, so say you're looking at a weekly chart, some of these stocks are just getting started. You're seeing these bases just break out. And I think that's kind of what we're highlighting here is that, yeah, there might be some heat in the short term in the market, but some of this stuff, as soon as it pulls back, it's going to be opportunity because of all the risk we've seen, because of all the overbought signals we've seen. That's going to be an opportunity. And hopefully there's some bad news, some bad sentiment that comes with that inevitable pullback. But the market is running hot. That's why I was looking at those correlation charts, because it's like, this all might be a similar trade. Right now, it's because everything's going up. So when that dissipates, right, I'm looking for those stocks that are holding these moving averages and kind of sticking the landing, for lack of a better term. Thoughts?
Not much.
No, I mean, listen, I'm looking at the S&P 1500 in particular, because the 1500 includes the 500 large, the 400 mids, and the 600 smalls.
Good
so
math.
You're getting like a broader look. And while I might not totally agree with Ari Wald, I respect his opinion, probably more than almost everybody. And he really truly considers those small caps, as that secondary confirmation indicator, Dow theory, like, if you will, versus like a transports. And, he might put it up on small caps on a pedestal a little more than I might, but I get it. And it's definitely important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just the point, is like, where was the breadth worry was like a couple weeks ago, and then bull market solved that problem. Like now people went from breadth is worry to breadth is overheated. They never went in between and said breadth was good, which I think is obviously just funny. Because the market looks beautiful. Like, don't know how else to say it, right?
What about the homies? I know you brought a chart of the homies here.
Yeah.
You guys have been pounding the table. We've
Yeah,
been talking about it every day.
Yeah, exactly. And I think John Roque mentioned this one time when it comes to like research and analysis is sometimes you say something once and then you don't repeat yourself. And he said he struggled with that. And I think I struggle with that too. Like I shared this chart once. I actually shared it on here 2-3 weeks ago. And then I don't reshare it thinking like, oh, I shared this idea once. It's like, it's working, right? The stocks are working off these lows. And when you think about home builders and home construction, you have that interest rate sensitive group in general. But then the second derivative of that is just consumer discretionary in general, which this to me is sentiment for people, for new buyers of homes. Like you have the furniture sales associated with this. You have the HVAC maintenance associated with this. You have the inspection. You just have economic growth associated with home builders and home construction. And I love this chart. I've loved this trade. And I just don't think it's time to not continue to talk about it. Like,
Yeah, but
I need to be annoying about this.
hold on. Oh, who cares what you share? Did you buy it?
Me? Yeah.
Then you're good. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
You should judge yourself at the end of every day, not based on your tweets, but on your account performance. If you're in the home builders, who gives a shit if you shared it?
For
Give
sure.
enough way.
Yeah, I just meant resharing your ideas, like in terms of always trying to be overly original every time you share something in your writing, etc. It's like, no, this idea is working. Why am I only going to talk about it once? That's more my point, right? So
no, I hear you, and this is one I think is, worthy of a good table pounding right now.
And then people are just like, "Oh, but he's just talking his book." Yeah. What?
Right.
Whose fucking book is he supposed to talk? Like, yeah.
yeah,
Talk your book,
Yeah.
I talk my book,
yeah,
I'm hodling.
yeah.
I got the crypto punks. I'm in the homies, we're buying the Coinbase and the Galaxy. I don't understand. Am I supposed to talk somebody else's book? Like, hey, look what that guy's doing. No, this is what I'm fucking buying.
If we're out here talking up things that we don't own, you wouldn't want to be watching this show or listening to
Well, it's usually out
of
of frustration. It's like, God damn it, I didn't get that one.
Yeah, which is fair. And I think that's the other thing. It's like you have to have the authenticity. So I'm going to share what I'm trading. I'm going to share my thoughts. I'm going to share, right? The market's doing well. I'm fully allocated. What's next? Like 80% of stocks aren't going to continue up for the next year, right? So it's where do I stay in this beta trade that's working, the home builders, or do I allocate back to something like financials that's kind of pulling back a little bit? Those are kind of the thoughts I'm having. And right now it's like stay in both until something, right? I'm a reactionary. I'll wait till something starts to break. I'm not just going to get out haphazardly because, some breath measure. You have to wait for the actual correction. That's what a lot of people fail to do is they wait for something might be overbought, but the signal isn't to sell when it's overbought. It's to sell maybe when it comes back down from overbought. But yeah, this is a chart I'm looking at. The other chart I wanted to highlight, there's a couple, but we can talk about therapeutics, biotechs, the chart below. I think, right, biotechs look good. And I think this chart kind of highlights a couple things that I think as a team, right, the team works on. And then just in terms of a trade here, right, like you have longer term could just be getting started, right? Like if you look at this, could just be getting started. You have the break of that opening PO, right? VWAP, right? You based and then you kind of broke out and then you consolidated. And during this consolidation, a lot of the charts I'm highlighting, you'll see this RSI is staying in this bullish regime because there's strength underneath the surface. And then what do we have this week? We had that pop out of this consolidation. Just a beautiful looking chart in terms of the biotechs where I think, right, short term you can add to it and longer term you can let this thing play.
Really nice chart. I'm finding so many things that I like and want to buy in biotech right now.
Yeah.
Short interest is off the charts, man. Biotech hasn't seen short interest this high in years.
Yeah.
And it's consistent with a bunch of short interest in the Russell 2000, right?
Yeah.
The fact that there's so much short interest in biotech, you're seeing in the Russell 2000. Also, biotech is ARCy, highest short interest ever in ARC. So like all of these things like are saying the same thing. They hate the biotechs, buy the biotechs.
Yeah. And the biotechs look good. And then I wanted to highlight kind of a stock that's pulling back, right? So look at SMR, New Scale Power Corporation.
Yeah.
These are the pullbacks. So I think, right, it's easy to share charts that are going up in the short term and be like, these are the ones I hold. Just being honest, right? Because I'm talking my book. Last time I was on here, I shared this chart, right? And it's really gone nowhere in theory. But what did it do? It got overbought. RSI got to 80 in this chart, 90 actually in this chart. And now it's pulling back to its recent low AVWAP, a polarity zone, and $30, which psychologically, right? You have 3 or 4 things lining up here. And then also look at that RSI. The RSI is, twiddling around that 50 level. I think this is one that, right, if you're looking at those momentum stocks that have pulled back a little bit relative to beta, this is something that now you can add to it because you have that clear risk reward against 30. You didn't necessarily have to chase it. This is a stock that I like here, New Scale. Something I'm in, right? I'm sitting in it until right? If it breaks back below 30, this recent low AVWAP, I'll get out. But I think this has room to the upside. And I have to be honest, like what Trump says to do works. Like he said buy stocks. You should have bought stocks, right? He talks about nuclear and wanting to expand it. The nuclear stuff looks good. He talks about wanting to lower rates. Bonds, yields and bonds don't look terrible. They look like they're bottoming. So I don't think you have to overthink this stuff sometimes. And I think in or bull markets, you can try to overthink every single relationship. And it's, man, stick to what's working.
Yeah, I agree. What do you say we do a little recess and then we go bounce, get back to work? What do you say?
Let's go.
Talk about football.
Just want to give a shout out to Carnies. Nomads, small hands, smell like cabbage, and my kids love them. The thing that goes around with the horses, the carousel. Kids love it. So just want to give a shout out to Carnies. I know you get a lot of hate, but we appreciate you, us parents. Shout out to the Carnies.
All right, cool.
Similar to like the thing that spins around so the cat could play with it.
Not quite.
No.
Like an actual carnival? You went to a carnival?
Yeah, I go to carnivals.
Okay. You let them get on any of the rides that go in the air or just the spinning ones?
I have a 4-year-old and twin 2-year-old, so we're not getting that aggressive yet.
Will you let them though? I don't know if I'll let my kid go on something that goes in the air at a carnival. I don't know if I trust
at a certain age, they got to start making their own decisions, bro.
True.
I used to manage the carnival at my local church, and I would ride all the rides.
Steve was a carny. Today we all learned something.
Steve was a carny, still a nomad.
All the rides.
Still a nomad.
Perks.
Shout out to 7-Eleven. Today is National Slurpee Day. I think I've had one Slurpee in the last 10 years. So if you live near one of the 9,500 7-Elevens in this country, go get yourself a free Slurpee. It's a hot day out there.
Dude, Asia just slaps the U.S. with 7-Elevens, dude. 7-Elevens all over Asia.
Great sushi.
Right by the Philippine Stock Exchange, just an FYI, in lovely Manila, there's a speakeasy. You got to go through the 7-Eleven, and there's a speakeasy behind it. It's right there, right next to the stock exchange there. Really, really nice, actually.
Speaking of vibes, Manila, man. Wow.
A lot of traffic.
Okay, so listen.
Shout out Mickey U in the house.
Yeah. There was a comment about La Industrie in Brooklyn. We've talked about this on here before. Whoever said that is spot on. Yep. I think this might be the single best slice of pizza in New York City right now.
Wait, didn't we go there? Didn't we go there?
No.
I've been there.
We went to Grimaldi's.
I've been there.
It's got a French name. Don't judge a book by its cover. I don't know why they picked a French name, but they are generous with the burrata. A lot of hot honey.
Strazza giving a shout out to France. First time here on the show. First time Strazza not hating on the country of France.
If you find yourself in Brooklyn, you got to try this place. The pizza's that good.
Go to Brooklyn, get the French pizza. It's great.
It's a 10. Go get the French pizza in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Fire. Yeah, I got to give a shout out to the WWE. Okay, grew up a big WWE guy. I love the old school babyface heel. Currently, John Cena. John Cena is the current heel, right? Long time babyface. And the chart looks great too. TKO. Take a look. But yeah, I love the WWE. I think here's my hot take about WWE. Everyone's like, it's fake. It's fake. It's fake.
Yeah.
I just don't know what part of it is fake, right? The outcome is fake, but everything else, like, it's harder.
So you do know what part is fake. Okay.
It's harder not to hit a person than it is to hit a person.
Dude,
right?
I was watching the Hell in the Cell with Undertaker and Mankind.
He threw him off the thing until the announcer's table.
Isn't fake. The height isn't fake. It's crazy to me. You have people doing backflips off of things, and people are like, "No, I want to watch Love Island," which is fine.
Larry, you want to come to SummerSlam in a couple weeks? It's in East Rutherford. You want to come?
There we go. Yeah, let me check the calendar.
It's August 2nd, dude. Come with me. Let's go.
August 2nd. I'm actually booked.
Live wrestling event.
Though.
Sister's pregnant, brother. She's having a gender reveal. Got to go to that.
No. Tell her you can't be doing that the weekend of SummerSlam. This is the second best event after WrestleMania of the entire year.
Yeah, I know.
My kids love Undertaker, dude. They can't get enough of Undertaker.
Undertaker? I was a big Brock Lesnar guy growing up. He wrestled. I wrestled. That's what kind of got me into it.
I was on Ultimate Warrior.
If you think this shit is
brother, look at these pythons.
If you think wrestling is fake, go Google Owen Hart. I have really close friends who are obsessed with wrestling, and they go to WrestleMania every single year. They got to have 15 years under their belt, maybe 20 years by now. Started when we were in high school. Total WWE groupies.
Dude, the best.
And a lot of them actually work at the WWE headquarters in Stanford. I got like 3 close friends.
It's such a Connecticut thing.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Do you smell?
Shut up, bitch.
What the Rock is.
All right. And on that note, Larry.
Hey, hold on, because there's some people in the chat getting mad we're not talking about markets. Subscription revenue business. What a great business. WWE. We're totally reinvented themselves.
TKO. I just talked about it. TKO.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw on Netflix.
Larry is going live this afternoon. Is that right, Larry? Every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Thompson's 2 cents right here on the channel and on stockmarkettv.com.
Yep.
That's what we got today.
Happy hour. Maybe have 1 beer. What? Maybe 2. What? Maybe a little tequila. What? Maybe a little margarita. What? Maybe a little whiskey.
All right.
2.
All right, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be back on Monday with Michael Antonelli on Monday's show.
Oh, nice.
Great. Yeah. All right. That's what we got. Enjoy your weekend. Go make some money. We'll see you around.
Happy Friday.
I can't take no